Hello and welcome to the first episode of Everything eosDAC. I'm Brandon Cummings, a content creator and member of the eosDAC community. The purpose of this show is to bring you the latest updates on eosDAC, discuss relevant topics with DAC members, and facilitate the engagement and growth of the community by rewarding listeners with giveaways that follow a few easy steps. So make sure you stay tuned for more details during this episode on how you can win some EOS tokens. Before we get started, I want to address to any of our listeners that are not already familiar with the DAC, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Community. If you're unfamiliar with this terminology, check out the What is a DAC YouTube video on the eosDAC channel. Andrew, from the launch team, gives one of the most up-to-date and concise explanations of what a DAC is and how it can function. After watching that video, you will have a much better understanding of what a decentralized autonomous community is and the potential it brings. But for the purpose of providing context to this video, I'll briefly borrow the basic definition from that video. Starting with decentralized, meaning distributed and spread globally, autonomous, meaning the DAC can act independently to seek completion of given goals through automation and logic, and community, which is a group of people or entities united around a common purpose under common rules. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into what we'll be covering. Today we're going to talk about the DAC interface tools, DAC enabling, and some of the community initiatives being proposed that could be some of the first improvements considered by the community to then be voted on by custodians once they've been voted in place. So let's jump right into this by covering updates in regards to the eosDAC interface tools. The first tool that was released is the Token Explorer Beta, which allows users to see the current market price, circulating supply, number of registered members and account holders, as well as the recent transfers and raw transaction data of eosDAC or any other token whose project decides to adopt or modify the open source software. I've actually put together a pretty quick and concise walkthrough of the Token Explorer Beta if you're curious what that looks like, or you can also pull up the Explorer yourself and play around with it. I'll include a link to the Explorer and the walkthrough in the show notes for you to check out. So the second tool, which is actually being tested right now by the devs and community, is the first version of the eosDAC member client. This includes the ability for eosDAC token holders to finally officially become registered members of the DAC by reading and agreeing to the Constitution. You'll also find access to wallet functionality for sending EOS and eosDAC tokens, as well as the Token Explorer that we just covered. As this member client expands and gets updated, we will also eventually have the ability to vote for custodians, submit on-chain worker proposals, and have tools available for the custodians to then vote on those worker proposals. Looking into the future here, once all of these basic tools are in place, then eosDAC will be able to work on packaging these into a toolkit that reproduces the process of launching a DAC in an easy-to-use system. By removing this technical barrier, people can focus more on what they want to build their community around, and once they have a completed idea and are ready to launch, they have consulting and a toolkit available to launch successfully. This is real value eosDAC brings to the EOS ecosystem, as not only a secure and transparent block producer, but as a DAC enabler as well. And by simplifying the process of forming a DAC, it's possible we could see many exciting projects launching around things like conservation and awareness, social services, and I'm not quite sure how the logistics would work, but maybe even a DAC whose purpose is to test out universal basic income and provide the statistics it collects to combine that with consulting for governments and other organizations to run their own test programs. So that we can have more people whose basic needs of food and shelter are met, so they're able to do stuff they're actually passionate about, while also providing a solution for when our AI robot overlords start replacing human jobs, which is obviously debatable because a lot of times when one job is made obsolete by technology, another one is created in some form or fashion. But getting back to my point here, we could see all kinds of cool DACs forming with the help of eosDAC and the DAC toolkit, making that process practically turnkey for launching their own token, voting in custodians, and essentially doing everything eosDAC will be able to do. And I've been thinking, this also presents a really cool win-win opportunity between eosDAC and the new DAC launching, if they decide to airdrop their token on eosDAC holders. For eosDAC, it allows the services and tools created to bring value to the community of token holders and members that are supporting eosDAC. And for the new DAC that's launching, it gives them access to a community that's already familiar with decentralized autonomous communities and likely more inclined to want to participate in their community when it launches. That being said, there's obviously no guarantee that a project will decide to airdrop on eosDAC token holders, but I think the incentives there align so beautifully, and I could see some projects choosing that as a possibility. So a lot of what we've talked about so far is really exciting, but we should also be realistic by realizing that a decentralized autonomous community is not run by one person that you can point to and say, okay, you're responsible for getting everything done. So in order to realize these grand visions, it requires you as a token holder and member to elect custodians that share a similar vision and philosophy of how you would like the DAC to function, as well as having as many people as possible within the community engaging in discussion, coming up with ideas, presenting solutions, and most importantly, submitting worker proposals to get it done. The last thing I want to cover is some of the community initiatives being discussed, and then I'll give you guys, and ladies, details on how you can win some EOS tokens. So right now, there's already groups brainstorming ideas and solutions in the eosDAC Discord channel. Morty, Cass, and Daniel have been discussing a way to reward DAC engagement, specifically rewarding active eosDAC members that have staked their tokens and voted for custodians. And I think the point behind this is providing a potential solution to increase voter participation while also providing an added value point for holding, staking, and voting with eosDAC tokens. And I think this is one of many ideas that will be drafted in the coming months by the community to be considered by custodians once they are voted in place. And there is no guarantee what they are proposing will actually take place, as that would ultimately be up to the custodians who you, as a token holder, will be voting in place. But that being said, I love that they're already looking ahead and taking the initiative to present a solution for the community to start discussing, for creating an incentive for people to be active within the DAC. They're currently looking for feedback and have drafted up a document with the proposed ideas. So if eosDAC and enabling future DACs sounds like something you would like to see flourish in the EOS ecosystem, then join in on the discussion and head over to the eosDAC Discord server to give feedback and present any cool ideas you would like the community to consider. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, let's talk about how you can win 10 EOS tokens. All you have to do to win is rate this video on YouTube, iTunes, or wherever you might be listening, retweet our post announcing this contest, and join into the open mic channel in the eosDAC Discord server where you can ask questions, present ideas, and listen in on the DAC Talk discussions. This will take place on Tuesday, August 21st at 3 p.m. UTC. There will be a random winner announced shortly after. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this very first episode of Everything eosDAC. Next time, in addition to bringing you updates, we're going to have Andrew Fermanzik from the eosDAC launch team on to discuss some interesting DAC topics. I hope to chat with some of you guys soon in the DAC Talk discussions in a couple days from now. And goodbye until next time.